I guess we're all here now. Sorry, I moved it wrong by accident. So let's get started. Wilson, do you want to start off with the agenda and then we'll just sort of switch topics and go through it as usual?
Yeah, sure, no problem. So thank you guys for joining us for our first Twitter Spaces. I think we're going to make this kind of the new norm going forward here. I think it's kind of a better means for us to communicate with more people here for
Absolutely.
what we're doing. So definitely looking forward to doing this more. Let's take a look here. So the first thing on the agenda, I guess, would be to kind of talk about the ambassador program. So that was something that we released yesterday, just talking about that we're going to have, a new program going forward that is going to be, basically just rewarding and, having some of our best Paribus supporters be involved in this program. So really looking forward to, participating in this particular program.
Cool. So yeah, the program will be going live early next week. Okay, you want to go ahead? You were saying something?
Sorry, my mic cut off for a second. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I think he's having issues. All right, so I'll carry on. So yeah, the ambassador program will be started officially next week, but the application form is actually on paribus.io. So if you're interested, go ahead to our website, fill out the form, and we'll start having discussions with the applicants and hopefully try to maximize our reach to hit as many people as possible before we do a full-scale MVP launch. So I guess that's that on the ambassador program. The ambassador, I guess I'll give you a bit more detail what sort of things I expected on the ambassador program. So the ambassador program is going to have a bunch of stuff where you can create content, you can create articles for any referrals, for any sort of referrals into a Telegram group. There will be some sort of rewarding mechanism for our ambassadors who are representing us, and we actually want to allow the program to run sort of community-based. So we have spoken to one of our biggest supporters, Nicola. He's actually on this call right now. So he'll probably sort of lead on that side, and then along with anyone else who wants to sort of join him to promote Paribus across their network, are welcome to do so. So the full-scale details will be launched next week, and along with the sort of rewarding mechanism behind the Paribus Ambassador Program. This is one of the first steps that we're taking to maximize our outreach. We are working on multiple fronts in the background in terms of marketing and how we want to sort of get the Paribus name known within different circles, not just within the Cardano ecosystem, but within the NFT space, essentially. So that's that. Let me let Wilson back in, and then he can carry on with the agenda, and then I'll jump back in. So yeah, Wilson, I just went through the ambassador program. So if you want to add anything, go ahead. If not, then I guess the next point on the agenda.
Okay, perfect. So I'll get pretty much the next thing that I wanted to talk about is essentially we just released an article a few minutes ago that talked about the phases of the MVP release, and pretty much just we've decided that we're going to actually go ahead and do it in 2 phases. So this is something that we decided to do based off of market conditions and security of the general protocol. So if you take a look at the article, we kind of went into a little bit more detail about the reasons why we went and did this particular change. But essentially, we're going to have the release of the MVP via a test net for the first phase, and this first phase is going to be open to anyone who had been a staker at any point in our staking program, and also any ambassador. So that's just another incentive for people who are thinking to join the ambassador program. to be able to try out the MVP via the testnet. So I'm not sure if you wanted to discuss a little bit more about that as well, Dennis.
Yeah, I mean, there really isn't a lot more to add. The reason behind this decision is, as mentioned by Wilson, is main thing is the security concerns. So we have done an audit. The audit is actually pretty safe in terms of the any sort of bugs that were picked up by the audit and hacking team was not critical level. So we had 0 critical level bugs on our smart contracts. We did, however, come across a few bugs of the code base that we initially forked off during audit. So we fixed that at the same time, which makes our platform much safer, of course. And then aside from the security aspect of it, it gives us an idea of what sort of interactions the user will have. Maybe we would need some additional metrics to be extracted from the application so that we can market our product properly. So the testnet will actually give us a good overview of how people interact with the platform overall in general. So yeah, we will to get bugs, get metrics informations, and utilize that in a better way. So when we go live, it's everything is just sort of 100%, and we have no concerns. And then the second aspect is, of course, the market. Given we all have been probably somehow hit with the USD collapse, I personally myself have been completely wrecked with UST and Luna itself. But it happens. These cryptocurrencies, DeFi, things happen, people learn, and we all grow together. So right now, there is a bit of a fear in the market, which is reasonable, of course, but that fear is causing cascading effects into DeFi protocols. So if you see the latest metrics on DeFi protocols, about 20% of liquidity has been removed from protocols like bridges because of security concerns and potential collapse of currencies. About 30% of the liquidity from DeFi protocols have been removed by end users who are, again, probably overreacting and panicking a little. But within these market conditions, it makes sense for us to sort of take this step by step and sort of weigh the current conditions of the market. I'm 100% sure that the market will, of course, bounce back and DeFi will become a sort of go-to point for anyone who wants to make a side income, etc. But until that time, things are going to take a bit of reassurance. So until that fear is disappeared from the community, in the crypto community as overall, we are taking this approach, which we believe is in the best interest of the protocol and, of course, our early on investors who have been supporting us throughout this whole time. So that's all I have to say on that part. I guess, Simon, do you have anything to add, or we're good?
No, we are fine.
I just wanted to say real quick that because we're still working with Hacken to make sure everything is complete 100% for our audit, we don't have specific timelines yet in regards to when the testnet is going to be available and when the full MVP release is going to be available yet. So we're definitely planning it for this month to have the capability for the testnet, and then most likely I would say in about another month to have the full release of the MVP. But these timelines can be a little bit fluid, so just be as patient as possible with us, and we'll make sure everything is working correctly first.
Cool. All right. What's the next thing on our agenda?
That's pretty much all I had to kind of bring up before we started taking questions. So those are kind of the main things that are happening with us right now. So if there's any questions that you guys have, we can start to get into some of the details.
Before we take on some questions, let me go over some of our efforts in terms of what we're doing and how we're getting ready for MVP launch. Because releasing a product is basically tip of the iceberg. There has to be a lot of things done in the background. So one of the things that we're doing, we have onboarded a marketing team with us. I think we mentioned this last time as well, but the marketing team is now working actively. We are making the right connections to the right people in the right platforms in the background continuously. We're just sort of putting everything in order and trying to hit the public back to back rather than sort of just doing it as we go along. We're trying to time everything along with our MVP. So you can expect to see more articles, more news outlets, hopefully, talk about Paribus and what the future holds in terms of NFTs. That's one area that we'll be focusing a lot on. Aside from that, the NFT DeFi consortium is actually going pretty well. We have potential another member to join us. So with this member, there will be 4 of us in this space that is trying to sort of standardize NFT valuations and share our experiences and data amongst this NFT consortium, so that we can build that crossroad between NFTs and DeFi and build a scalable system that is resilient to sort of manipulation and I don't see it happening, but sort of the same sort of collapse that USD has had, because obviously we don't have a stable coin, etc. We don't have that sort of mechanism. But DeFi is DeFi. Everything is sort of integrated with each other. So those are some of the things that we've been doing. That's quite exciting. Expect to hear some technical snippets and some little sort of peeks into what we've been building in terms of how we value NFTs, and we want to actually put all this information into some sort of a formalized proper white paper, because up till now we had a light paper, and along with this, so the next 3 to 4 months should be very busy for us. Of course, the NFT valuation, NFT DeFi consortium, rewrite of the light paper into a full-blown white paper, and more articles and more coverage. Yeah, that's what we had. Actually, one more thing. We actually started speaking to IOHK to try to work together on some marketing efforts. So we've had a pretty good small interview about Paribus through IOG's marketing team. So expect some snippets of videos of me talking on a video interview with the IOG guys. So yeah, that's all the news for now. We're working hard in the background, and we'll keep you guys updated as things become finalized and confirmed. So let's take the first set of questions, I guess.
May I ask a question?
Yes,
Sure.
of course, go ahead.
Okay, I'm just curious. I haven't seen this anywhere in the space yet when it comes to evaluating NFTs and taking loans against or borrowing against your NFT. Is it possible, or have you all looked into the possibility of, most of us in the space on Cardano own more than one NFT. So is it possible or that we could maybe take a loan out against multiple NFTs in one transaction? Let's say I have 2 space buds, each worth 5,000 ADA, but I want a loan of 10,000 ADA. Do I need to put both of them into separate transactions conceptually, or would I possibly be able to bundle them together, even different NFTs from different projects, and say my whole portfolio is worth 80,000 or something, and I want to take a loan of 50,000? Could I pool everything together and possibly work that way? Is that an idea or been thought about or a possibility?
Yeah, so the initial version 1 of the NFT platform would be 1 NFT equals 1 loan, but we do have plans to sort of bring all those NFT loans into a single wallet. So your wallet will be mapped to a multiple loans, but it will show up as a single loan through the system. But the initial version, the version 1 that we will launch towards Q4 of this year, would be 1 NFT equals 1 loan.
Got it. That's how I kind of understood it to be and expected it, but I was just curious. So thank you.
I'm Kali Show by name, from Nigeria. I have a lot of friends and the community who joined this Paribus. I thank you very much for this wonderful effort that you are using. Well, this opportunity to give us great opportunity to invest in this Paribus project. Thank you very much. It's a good project. Most of our people are investing, and more and more and more. Thank you very much for your effort.
Thanks for the support. We will build to our promises, and hopefully we all come out victorious on the other end of the tunnel.
Hey guys.
Hey.
I just want to say thanks for everything, and I want to welcome all the new guys who are here with this new Twitter space. It's way better than Telegram. It's my personal opinion. Regarding to ambassador program, Wilson, I sent you today some messages. We talked about this before, but I felt something else today. So if you have time today, you just take a look at this. Regarding the questions, I'm here since the beginning, so I'm following every step of the Paribus team and everything in the developing. So I just wanted to say thanks for everything, because I see how much effort they put in this project and how you're connected with the community. And thanks once again. Thanks. If I have any question, I'm just gonna ask in the meantime.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nicola. I'll take a look at your messages. I've just been very busy this morning, but I'll make sure to get back to you today for sure. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Hi, gentlemen. I have a question. First, I just want to also say thank you very much for all your hard work and hosting this Twitter space. It is nice to see transparency in every project here on Cardano. So I'm very happy to see you guys joining in with being more transparent and available to the community. I think that's wonderful. It's also good to hear of your intentions with advanced marketing. So in regard to that, my question is actually going to be about the PBX token. I have seen several articles of various coin burns, but I also notice, a frequently used application to look at circulating supply is coin market cap. And I noticed there's no movement there. So kind of a compound question. Basically, I'm wondering what your intention is as far as burning and where you hope to get as far as total supply. And I'm wondering what it's like to work with CoinMarketCap and other websites as well to kind of keep up to date with, the most current up-to-date information. And thank you.
So our intentions with Coinburn is to essentially reduce the supply. This is in line with our plans to have a certain level of circulation supply in mind, according to what we've calculated in terms of how much we'll need for rewards programs, how much we'll need for incentives for borrowers and lenders, and how much we need for stuff like exchange listing, as usually give PBX in certain amount to an exchange so that it's part of the listing process. So based on these calculations and projections, we are looking to continuously burn until we reach our threshold. We have decided to do this because we believe as long as we have X amount of PBX in total supply, the project is self-sufficient and it doesn't require the additional amount of tokens that we've minted initially. So that's our plans, that's our intentions. So the PBX burn mechanism will actually carry on through these monthly burns, but once the fees are introduced, it'll probably pick up, hopefully with more loans in circulation, etc. Our total burn maximum supply, we previously mentioned, will be 2 billion. So we could burn up to 2 billion PBX. That's the absolute max that we can burn up to over the next 3-4 years, let's say. But yeah, these are intentions. And what was the third part of the question?
The third part of the question was basically, I'm noticing as you guys are doing these burns, I'm not seeing updates on websites such as CoinMarketplace or CoinMarketCap. I'm sorry.
So I mean, to be completely transparent and honest, CoinMarketCap is probably one of the worst websites that we've worked with. The reason being, we supply them with the data they need. We supply them with the API endpoints that give the current supply, but it's just like it's super slow, or sometimes it's completely ignored. So we have to chase and chase and chase. But CoinGecko, on the other hand, it's pretty reliable. They keep up with everything because we do have an actual endpoint that gives the circulation supply. Yeah, I mean, CMC, not good experience. CoinGecko, pretty good experience so far.
Okay, I understand. I just think that when new people come into the marketplace and they check out a project, it's one of the first places they go. So that's why I have that curiosity. And I appreciate you answering my questions. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, so actually, if you take a look at CoinMarketCap and you take a look at like self-reported supply, it is different than like what they have. So pretty much if you take a look at like the very first page, you'll see what they suppose our supply is. But if you actually take a look, like clicking at the top, you'll see the self-reported supply. It's kind of annoying that they do it like that, but that's kind of the only option that I've seen to kind of at least give an idea of what the correct supply is.
Very good. Thank you.
I actually forgot to mention one more thing. As we're sort of transitioning now into a process where we are stepping away from active development into releasing products from testnet to mainnet and then more additional features, we are looking to transition into Discord. Telegram will still be there, but we want to take the active community to Discord and have multiple channels so we can communicate more effectively with the community. And one of the bigger reasons, although I mean spammers exist everywhere, one of the bigger reasons is that we have a lot of spammers and scammers on Telegram. So you will see us building Discord actively over the next couple of months. We are interested in Discord admins. If anyone has any experience with it, give us a shout. So yeah, that's another piece of news that I think the community will welcome.
Yeah, definitely. I forgot to mention that actually. So we're going to make a post here today, just kind of, looking to see if we can find someone who would lead the Discord. That's going to be probably, I would say, in a couple of weeks to get that running. And, we'll take a couple of applicants and see, based off of their experience, what, they're going to be able to provide for our Discord community. So we'll get that process starting today or tomorrow, and then that'll be probably going on for another couple of weeks, and then we'll start the Discord.
Question on staking. With the future reduction of supply based off of burning, is it a possibility that the minimum needed to stake might also decrease as well?
So there is actually good developments on staking. I don't want to give too many details, but the staking model that we want to introduce on Milk Meadow is actually completely different to the staking model that we have right now. So yes, the minimum will be reduced. There will be changes to values. There will be changes to return percentages, and it will become actually more of an engaging staking rather than sort of stake and forget. We want the community to be continuously active on what they've staked and try to direct the platform and us in a certain way so that it's not a full DAO. I wouldn't say it's a full DAO, but we're heading towards that way. And this staking model that we're going to introduce over the next 2 months is the first step towards a DAO, which we'll give details when in due course.
Awesome. And you said Milkameda, and in that regard, is there an Cardano native token yet? I'm not sure. And if so, no. And then if not, when do you expect the converter, or when would we be able to get over to Cardano's network, or how does that work?
So at the moment there isn't a Cardano native token, but there will be with Milk Meadow. So the only thing that's actually stopping us from going directly to Milk Meadow's testnet right now is the lack of oracles. If there was an oracle that was able to feed us asset prices, then we would actually deploy straight to Milk Meadow, not even Arbitrum. So as soon as that oracle becomes available, you will see Paribus on there, and then along with that, you will see a native Cardano token on the layer 1 Cardano chain, and then a representation mapping on the Milk Meta side as well. But yeah, I mean, as far as I know, there isn't a active bridge yet, two-way bridge at least. There is a one-way bridge, so you can go to Cardano from Ethereum, but you can't come back to it. We are waiting for a two-way bridge just before we sort of tell people to go ahead start swapping. I know there is, I think Milk Meta is actively building a two-way bridge, so they're close to go live. But depending on those developments that's outside of control, of course, we will be looking to head over to Cardano ecosystem as soon as possible.
All right. All right.
If I may add something, I see through this past couple of months, actually since December, October, when MVP and when Cardano, all the time, those questions. And I'm hoping that I'm talking about all of us investors who put in this project a lot of money, not a couple of hundred of US dollars or thousands of US dollars, but a lot of money. I don't care about the dates as long as we're gonna keep security up to a certain level that when we go live and when we go to a Cardano, it's gonna be boom, but not some crashing. Like we saw a lot of stuff with a lot of coins that happened in the previous months. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, to double down on that, we've taken our time with the MVP. I mean, MVP was essentially code-wise, it was ready since February, but we carried on writing tests to make sure there was good enough code coverage on our code base before we even handed it over to Hacken for an audit. Hacken took good time to audit our code base. So security is paramount to any DeFi protocol, but when you're trying to build something that's completely new and sort of innovative, and you're thinking about the long-term vision, it requires you to think twice about every step, which is what we've been doing so far. And we will take our time. I understand people want the migration to happen as soon as possible, but a lot of the time the migration requests are in hope that there will be a price increase in the token, which in my opinion doesn't really always work out the way people imagine it to work out. So it's better to go one step at a time and be super secure and prepared both technically and at business level to actually release on Cardano and gain the liquidity or attract the liquidity that we need so the protocol becomes a success.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the exact same reason why we're doing our MVP in two phases, where essentially, we're going to have that testnet version. We can make sure that everything is running smoothly and that there's no possible, security flaws that we can detect. And, we're hoping that our community will understand that this is the better approach to ensure the longevity of our protocol. And so definitely appreciate people like you who, understand that fully and want to see us, be successful long term.
Thank you. And I remember I wanted to ask something in the Telegram, and this is the better way. I experienced something when my locking period of staking finished. So I'm talking about the locking period, and I received some amount of PBX just because its locking period is finished. Is that normal, or and it's a great amount, and I'm really happy about that. But is that common stuff when the locking period is finished to receive some rewards over rewards, or it's just me?
I'm not too sure on that particular point. So after the locking period was over, you automatically got rewards sent to the claiming section of the staking portal?
I'm gonna be more specific. So I had like 180 or something, 183,000 of rewards. And the day when my staking locking period actually finished, I received 100,000 more. So I now have 283,000 coins. So 100,000 is just poof. And I was like, okay, thank you.
So you're in the Argenti pool?
Yeah. Argenti, middle pool.
Okay. We'd have to look into this, but I think why you got the extra rewards is possibly because other people have exited, so the penalties were slashed, and whatever is slashed gets redispersed to people who are already in the pool. So you probably reap the rewards of early withdrawals. Yes. But we will double check. So Simon is actually making a request. 1 second. He'll be able to give you more info. Simon, can you hear us?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dennis, you're right about that. So basically, whenever someone leaves the pool early and get a slash, it's redistributed to everyone that is still in the pool. So that's where you got the extra rewards from.
Oh, that's great from them. Thanks to them.
All right. Any other questions? Anything you guys are curious about? It doesn't necessarily have to be about Paribus. If you just want to talk about NFTs and crypto in general, current conditions.
Right now, as I understand, Chainlink is the biggest oracle out there for price feeds and things like that. Is there a different oracle or anything of that nature for NFTs to be able to read prices or valuations on them that you can let us know of, or does Chainlink do that also?
So NFTs are a bit more tricky to value. That's why you don't have like official data feeds like Chainlink having one, for example. What you could have instead is like a price feed of floor price for a given collection, but not for a specific NFT. So there isn't any other oracle that does this, as far as I know. This is why we're actually building the valuation algorithm that we're doing today, currently. It's designed to essentially serve as an oracle to NFT valuations, and there are a few other companies that are doing this, which is why we're forming the NFT DeFi consortium so that we can all work together. Because I mean, I'll be completely honest. This NFT valuations is not easy. You can't just look at the floor price and say, okay, it's worth this much, because the floor price can be manipulated. If two people get together, they can sell it, bring down the loan values, the floor price, therefore liquidate you and take your NFTs if they know that you've collateralized your NFT. If you look at stuff like metrics like TWAP of an NFT, again, it's open to manipulation, so you can't rely on that either. This is why it's quite difficult to value NFTs. It's quite open to manipulation, and you need to consume multiple data points rather than a handful to come to a conclusion that is sort of at a decent level of error rate. Of course, AI ML has error rates, which our models have it as well. But as long as that error rate is anywhere between sort of 5 to 10%, then we'll be comfortable to offer it to public as a service. So yeah, in the due course, that's the valuation algorithm. There isn't an oracle that provides this data.
Wow. Okay. Makes sense, but scary, but makes sense. It's odd knowing that on one protocol, my NFT collection might be valued at a certain number, and on another protocol, it could be different. But it's very early, so I understand.
Yeah. So that sort of discrepancy between platforms should be actually minimized with our efforts to build this NFT DeFi consortium, because if we could standardize the way NFTs are valued and what data points are consumed, then regardless of which platform you go to, there should be some level of consistency with pricing. So that discrepancy should be minimal between platforms in the long run.
Thank you.
We never spoke about this, and I never asked. Basically, lending and borrowing platform, taking that in consideration. So it's not going to be P2P. So I'm not going to go there and search for a contract that I'm gonna lend someone the money. It's gonna be basically on a smart contract, yeah. So if I need the money, I can just put collateral and take from the Paribus, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And what if, for example, I mean, just example. At the beginning, there's a lot of people who want to take the money from the Paribus, but there's not. Is there a lot of money in Paribus so you can lend a lot of people, or how does it go?
Yeah. So the principles that it's based on, it's essentially the same as any other decentralized borrowing and lending protocol. So what you have is we have pools of liquidity. So let's say we have a pool for USDC, USDT, and Bitcoin. And a borrower comes and says, okay, I want to borrow, I don't know, Bitcoin against this NFT that I'm putting up for collateral. As long as the liquidity that is required or the loan amount that is required from the borrower is available in that Bitcoin pool, the system will auto approve it and transfer the funds to your wallet straight away. And depending on the usage of that underlying protocol, so the underlying pool, so for example, the Bitcoin pool, the interest rates will hike, right? So we have a utilization rate of, let's say 80% for a given pool, which means if we have 100,000 in a pool available to lend and 80,000 of it has been lent already, which leaves 20,000 in the pool, that would automatically give our smart contracts the signal to boost interest rates. So therefore, the borrowers that borrowed the 80,000 earlier are more inclined to pay back their loan because they are now paying more interest. The interest rate has just gone up. Whereas the lenders are inclined to put more liquidity into the protocol because the interest rate is high, so your returns are going to be high. So this is the basic mechanism that is going to be feeding these pools. And then on top of that, we want to add stuff like borrow incentives or lender incentives, where we sometimes give you extra rewards for borrowing from the protocol, which is basically the money you take as a loan and plus PBX rewards because we want to incentivize liquidity and usage. Of course, this will be a limited promotional run to get the platform going, but we do have incentive mechanisms that we can attach to these pools and borrowing mechanisms.
A really nice explanation. Thank you.
No problem.
Who do you guys see as your biggest competitor in this space based off of the scope of your project and what you're doing? Are you looking at anybody to kind of model after, or who would you say you're, who's also trying to do what you're doing here?
I mean, there's very small sort of under the radar platforms that are trying to do the same thing. I think Drops.DAO is one of them, but again, it's like it's a very new field. There's a lot of P2P lending systems with NFT collateralization, but there's only one, as far as I know, that does auto valuations and therefore just automated borrowing and lending, which is a far more scalable solution than P2P lending and borrowing lending.
Manny B investing is so quiet tonight. Are you here, Manny?
He's listening. Usually he has a lot of questions.
He's recording at this moment.
All right. Well, if there's no more questions, we'll just wrap it up. I think it's been recorded anyway, so hopefully Manny recorded. If not, I think one of us are recording as well. I have one request. Let's see. Oh, it's disappeared. So yeah, I mean, if you have any last minute questions, do ask. If not, join our Telegram, and then hopefully in a few weeks you can join our Discord as well. And we look forward to our next chat as always. Just tag us if you need anything in the group. We're always around to answer any questions or any concerns that you guys may have. Thanks for joining us. It's been a pleasure as always. Take care. Have a good weekend in advance, and we'll speak in a couple of weeks.
Thank you. Great space. Looking forward to the next one.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Oh, thank you once
guys.
again. Thank you once
Take
again.
care.
Thank
No
you.
problem.
Bye.
Thank you guys.
You are all
Bye.
welcome.